You're listening to the Low Pressure Podcast, the podcast for skiers.
Presented by CMH Heli Skiing and Peak Performance.
This episode of the LPP is brought to you by CMH Heli Skiing, Peak Performance Outerwear, Fat Tire Amber Ale, RMU Skis and Mountain Culture Shops, and the official destination partner of the LPP, Kicking Horse Mountain Resort in beautiful Golden, British Columbia. Enjoy the episode.
We're in Spain right now. Have you ever been here before?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, really? Why?
Mm-hmm.
How?
I hiked the Camino with my mom, the Camino de Santiago.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. When did you do that?
Like a couple years ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
How long did that take you?
It took a couple weeks. We didn't do the whole thing, but yeah, we drank a lot of wine. Walked a lot.
Did you not do the whole thing just because you got tired of it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like...
We bailed.
All right.
It was, yeah.
We've bonded enough. It's time to, shut it down.
Yeah, take a bus to the nearest airport and GTFO.
For real?
No, it was a couple weeks of, planned. I don't think we had ever intended to finish the voyage.
Have you always been, a big hiker or climber?
Not, I climb a bit, but I've never really hiked per se.
Oh, really?
I've never hiked just for the sake of hiking.
It's like adventurous walking?
Yeah, there's usually a destination by the end of the hike, hopefully.
Like a hot spring or...
Yeah.
It's usually for the course of a day.
Yeah.
And then back, not 2 weeks of...
just hiking.
Walking through the Spanish countryside.
Which was beautiful.
What was some of the highlights of that trip?
Let's see. Yeah, my mom, she's, just, I don't think she's much of a hiker either, so it was fun to, kind of watch her struggle a bit.
Did you? Have you ever done, adventures like that with your mom before?
Not really, yeah. And it went really well. It was fun. Yeah, it was exciting.
Nice little bonding moment kind of thing?
Yeah, things went way more smooth than they did here, that's for sure, on my own, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Then here on your own?
Well, yeah, we arrived here. I think I've told this story so many times, but Jed and I think I was telling you earlier.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay, please tell me the story.
Maybe we can start there.
Yeah, let's start there.
More interesting.
All right, so you flew into Spain.
Kind of excited. Met up with Jed. Rented a car. Easy. Not even that expensive. All-wheel drive. Snow tires. Everything. Got to this kind of hotel, which wasn't really thought out that well, which hotel we were staying at.
Are you normally a planner? I'm not.
No.
Sometimes I'll be I booked a hotel in Toulouse, my stopover from the layover 3 hours before I got there. I was like, where am I supposed to stay?
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. It's funny because I think for my job I'm actually technically a planner, but I suck at planning. And yeah, so no plan, just booked a hotel. The hotel was small and kind of shitty, to be honest. And we were like, let's just get out of here. We'll go grab some drinks. Grabbed some drinks, came back, and the car was broken into, and Jed's bag was gone.
Oh, really?
I know, so we're driving around police stations trying to file a police report and do all the things. The police stations were go to this other police station, and then that police station told us to go to this other police station, and it was kind of a nightmare. So whatever, we kind of moved on from it, woke up in the morning to deal with all of our shit, and then our car was gone because we parked it in a bus stop, turns out. We're so tired by the end of the night that we just parked it in a bus stop, and it got towed. And
so you get a car broken into, then you got it towed. Did you get any of the stuff back?
No. Unfortunately, Jed lost his kind of an important bag, but luckily he's a Scott athlete, so he got his stuff kind of expedited over here. And
that's nice.
Slowly reclaiming some stuff.
I thought you were with Lily Bradley, because didn't she have somebody she was with steal their bag, and then she chased after the dude?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
And was just give me my bag back. And then
she asked the guy. Yeah, he did.
And that was in Barcelona. Everyone's told me that if you go to Barcelona, just don't expect to come home with the things that you came with.
Yeah. I wish somebody had told us that, but
that is what it is. So
we'll be the ones to tell people. So
yeah, right. That's day one, and then we skied the first day that we were here.
Yeah.
So I was hungover, super hungover, because I went out like Spanish pub crawling, I guess, with like Aymar and Christopher, Raina, and Carl and a bunch of other crew.
Yes, the royalty.
Yeah, the Pinche Pote, like the local. The Aymar told me about this on the podcast that I did with him last year. Actually, Christopher was like, "Hey, what do I gotta talk to Aymar about?" He's like, "Ask about Pinche Pote." And you go to all these little bars in the town, and it's like a really nice tapas snack, and then a beer, and then it just got out of hand fast. Ended up drinking beers with Raina in the outside the lobby till like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, and then I checked in, and then woke up in all my clothes, lights on, like 10 o'clock. I was like, oh crap. So that was great. And then I met you guys on the hill and went skiing, and was just average at best.
Yes.
Average minus, I think I was calling it. But that was a fun day.
Yeah. Minus like your actual feelings of being hungover.
Yeah, it didn't matter though.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the skiing was fun. It was cool to like, meet you and ski with, like we met before, obviously. But like to meet like Addison and Delilah and Jed, I didn't know either.
Yeah.
And then get rowdy.
And down climbing the most like exposed down climb just to ski the most mellow little couloir. It was an exciting
It's
adventure.
a cool hill though.
I loved it. Yeah. That was probably the highlight line of my trip so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Soon not to be.
Hopefully
it's
soon not to
soon
be.
gonna be overpowered. So we're here for the Freeride World Tour.
Yep.
This is your first event on that pro tour. How are you feeling?
Like I'm going through waves, I guess. I'll like start hyperventilating a little bit, like if I actually think about it, and then I'll zone out and pretend like it's not happening. And
Are you really that nervous about it?
yeah, I'm pretty nervous, to be honest. Yeah.
And is it what's the nerves that are they bothering you about it?
Just seems like I guess because there's only 3 chances to make it into finals, and
But then you get a couple other chances to get back on.
yeah, and then if I would, that's true. You get the like Challenger Series or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, it doesn't. Everybody says it doesn't really actually matter. Like nobody really remembers how you do. At the end of the day, it's like they care about people care about you as an athlete rather than your performance. And I feel like it's easier to say when the Scott team's at the bottom.
Yeah, that's true. And like, I don't know, do you find pressures in that? Like your dad's here now too?
Yeah, my dad's here.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. I think I'm nervous, honestly, I would rather ski something really sick and fall than ski something kind of mediocre and
Right.
do just fine.
Is that kind of your style on the qualifiers?
No, I think on the qualifiers I was really trying to figure out how to do like the in between, like don't go balls to the walls, but yeah, just kind of.
Do you not think that's a good strategy for this?
I don't know. It's like Andrew Pollard was kind of mentioning that it's easy to think at the tour that you need to like step up your game, and it's easy to think that you need to do something crazy since you're on the tour and you're on the world stage. But in reality, it's just kind of do what
You got to
you're
stay
used
within
to. Yeah.
Don't change it up.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Andrew, like that guy finishes in the top 10 every single event. He almost never crashes, but he also doesn't ever do anything ultra crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like crazy is the specific word. Like he does some really impressive shit, and I love watching his ski style. But it's not like that one standout moment of the comp. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna drop a triple stager kind of thing, right? It's like it's not an all or nothing. He never has like it's not like an all or nothing kind of run for him.
Yeah.
So that's good advice, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's good advice. Yeah, it made it seem more mellow. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't have to launch like 60 feet just to like prove that I can.
Although we were looking at that line this morning trying to figure out if it was 60
yeah,
feet.
it's hard to tell. I don't know. Here it's hard to tell, especially in a different country. You don't really know. Like I don't know. I don't know what's big and what's not big and what could be small. I was looking at something and I don't really want to look at something and think it's like gigantic and then ski up to it and it's like 2 feet. Or vice versa, I guess.
And then not stomp it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. And so, I don't know. Is it mostly just you're in your head right now?
I think so. Yeah. But I've been here for like 5 days at this point, so it's kind of like I think I had a lot of anxiety and stress about it a couple of days ago, and it's mellowing out a little bit. It doesn't. I am going first, so I'm a little scared with that.
You pulled number 1.
I pulled number 1.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it's not first overall.
No.
No, you're
The
the
snowboard. Yeah, snowboarders go first. So, yeah, I'll have some beta, I guess. Maybe some border beta.
Do you prefer first, last, middle?
I think I would prefer like kind of more back of the pack.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And get info from below? And be
Yeah, totally.
I actually need to hit that 60-footer.
Yeah, yeah, or not, yeah. But then again, I was kind of talking to my roommate here, Addie, and she was like, I don't really care what other people are skiing. I have a line, and I'm gonna ski it no matter what. So at that point, it doesn't matter where you go. So.
You can't do anything. With anyone else. Everybody else has got to do their own thing.
Yeah.
So you can't even think about it, right?
Yeah.
We were walking up the stairs, I don't know if you remember last night, and I'm like, just ski.
Yeah.
You know how to ski.
Yeah.
You're here for a reason. Just do that.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. As long as you're happy with your run, I think that's really all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the hard part's like figuring out what line would make you happy to do.
And everybody here's miserable because nobody knows.
Because nobody knows what to do. It seems like some people are getting it, but
it's always funny coming to these things and like that first few days of like face check and everybody just like sense the anxiety.
Sense the perplexities of it all.
Yeah, everyone's just like, ugh, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go back in time.
Okay.
Let's get to know Molly a little better.
Cool.
I know a few things about you, but we'll start at the start. Where are you from?
I grew up in Placerville in California, which is like a little foothill town outside of Tahoe.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then where'd you grow up skiing?
Grew up skiing at this little resort called Dodge Ridge.
Dodge Ridge?
Yep.
I've never heard of that one.
Little Dodge. Yeah. Yeah, we grew up, I mean, I wouldn't say like I probably until I was like middle school, maybe 13, 14.
That counts?
Yeah. And then switched over to kind of the Tahoe side, Sierra at Tahoe, which is recovering from some burn injuries, but
yeah, I did an episode there. Well, I went and skied there with Kals Main.
Oh yeah,
what we were talking about when I did that episode in Kirkwood. Mm-hmm. I skied there with Kals Main, and that place looks like a tree skiing heaven.
It is, yeah.
Or it used to be.
Now it just looks like Mount Bachelor.
All the trees have burned to the ground.
Yeah, totally.
So were you on that team, or you just skied there?
At that point, I just skied there. Yeah, I raced a little bit in high school. Mm-hmm. And
have you been there since it's reopened after the burn?
I haven't. No.
No. Are you afraid to see what it's gonna look like?
I kind of have an idea just because going down my hometown's like was that whole stretch of the Caldor fire. Mm-hmm. So when I go home, I can kind of get a feel for what it is.
Is it really that drastic?
It's pretty drastic, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty drastic.
Were you guys worried you were gonna lose your house? Mm-hmm. Didn't,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty crazy. I mean, the fire was just ripping, and then if you looked at the fire map, basically the firefighters just barricaded Tahoe and Myers, and then the fire just they barricaded it in a way to where the fire just completely jumped over all the houses, burnt everything else around it, but and then it burned to Nevada, and all the at that point we just let it rip to Nevada, and they complain about it, but we'll just send all the fires that way. Anyway.
Jeez, were you worried you're gonna get evacuated? Were you like on evacuation alert? Did you have a bag
we did
packed?
get evacuated.
You did?
It was like middle of the night, just kind of, classic situation. I looked out my window and just could see the flames coming up over the ridge, and it was just like terrifying.
Did someone come and like bang on the door?
No,
say, hey, time
you
to
could
go?
hear a siren. There were sirens out, and just like speakers being like, "All right, it's time to go, everyone." And they did it a few days early. Like they did it strategically, so people were leaving a little early, so we weren't all like gridlocked into a burning town. So yeah.
Jesus.
I know, it was pretty gnarly.
So how long was it till you could go back home?
It was 2 weeks about.
Wow.
Yeah.
Stressful?
It was pretty stressful just to I would just Google Earth fire maps just every day. I was like checking the weather, but it was a fire map instead of just seeing like where it jumped and if it was going to calm down and you would just see it. And then when the winds would pick up, you just could see the flames just fucking shooting miles ahead. And Yeah.
More stressful than
this.
planning for a comp.
That is a good point. Maybe I should put it into perspective a little better.
Maybe it'll help, right?
Yeah,
like
totally.
you have some control over this.
Yeah, or
right?
I can ski as fast as if I'm running from a fire or something. I don't know.
There is something to be said about skiing a burn.
Yeah. I know.
It's pretty rad. Like,
Yeah.
We not to try not to. I'm making lemonade here, right? Like Sarah's beautiful, and like the tree skiing, a lot of those zones that we went into. Actually, when we came out, it turned out like no one's skiing in here. It's because it was closed.
Yeah.
But it's like big Tahoe trees spaced all apart from each other. You can just on a pow day, I can imagine just ripping through there.
Yeah.
But then with like the black spires from like the burn, it adds to a cool aesthetic.
Yeah.
Could be a cool like marketing shift for them.
Totally. Yeah, I know Josh Dyak's doing a film kind of in the burn patches in Tahoe, so
Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing
we'll
that.
see. It'll be
I'm gonna
fun.
call him.
I
Maybe
think
they can come down and hang out.
yeah. We'll show you some burn spots.
Yeah, I mean, there's a burn on Whistler. There's a zone called CBC that we used to ski. It was like really kind of tight trees and brushy, but we'd always pick our way through it anyways. And we had a fire on Blackcomb about maybe, I want to say 15 years ago or so. And that summer, the whole same thing. The whole of BC was like you could sneeze hot and it would like
Just blow up.
light a fire. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just we'd drive down the road and there'd be one tree on fire from a
Damn.
dry lightning strike or something like that.
Wow.
And then you see the helicopter in and take it off right away. But there was a strike on Blackcomb, and I was driving off-road tours at that time, and I was at the other side of the valley on a different mountain, and we had just driven this group to a landing spot as the fire was starting. So we pretty much had this like perfect, almost television style view, look directly across at Blackcomb, watching the fire grow, and then helicopters and planes and helicopters and planes just
Yeah.
dropping. And I was looking at the zone, and I'm like, I think that's CBC. Sure enough, it burnt all the way around that side corner where it was all super tight, and now it's like open and awesome.
Good skiing.
100%.
Damn,
Yeah. So
cool.
it was like the ideal like maintenance. It's like
Yeah.
Mother Nature came and cleaned it up for us. It was amazing.
Totally.
So I don't know. Burn skiing is fun because it takes a lot of the obstacles out
Branches
of the way.
out of the way.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We come out of there with like a dirty jacket because you keep like hitting stuff. Like,
Right.
If you hit a branch, like a big soot mark on your coat or whatever.
Yep.
I don't know. I'd be interesting. I'd like to go down there and check it out for myself, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's worth the experience for sure.
All right. So okay. So we grew up in just outside of Tahoe.
Yep, just outside Tahoe. And then I went to school in Santa Cruz. Kind of bailed on skiing for a while.
Is that ocean or is
It's
it?
ocean, yeah.
Are you a surfer?
No, I T-boned too many people, so I
Oh, you're a kook.
yeah. I guess in layman's terms, I'm a kook in the
Aren't
water.
we all? Yeah, aren't we all?
Yeah,
How many people aren't? Like 12?
yeah. Maybe they're everyone's. Maybe it's not even 12 except for Amar. Yeah, but I started sailing because that was there's a little more space out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that was cool. I really like that.
Like, is there? Do you have a boat?
I was in college and we had little lasers to race on, so we just kind of jetted around
In the ocean?
In the ocean, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. I haven't sailed since, really, but
There's a lot of people that say. I just did one with Justine Dufour LaPointe, who's actually sitting over there, who's on the tour this year. She's like, I have a sailboat.
yeah,
Christopher Trudell sails as well.
yeah.
And there's a lot more people than I'd ever expect to sail. This has never, ever been in like my realm
of
existence.
Yeah. I guess, maybe, and if you're kind of landlocked in Canada, it's not.
We got lakes. I live like 50 kilometers from the ocean
Oh, okay.
in Squamish.
Well, then I don't know.
I don't know. What made you get into sailing?
Just because I couldn't surf. Because I kept hitting people.
Like literally.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right, so there's a few other things. You have some great stories. We have to address probably the biggest one people want to find out about.
Yes.
Molly Armin Nine Toes. The nickname you told me.
Yep.
So you lost a toe
Mm-hmm.
Or part of a toe.
Part of a toe, yeah.
All right, can you tell me that whole story?
Yeah, so
I've
Where
been
to
waiting. I've
start?
been waiting like when we hung out in Golden, and then like the whole time this week. I have not specifically not been asking you this, but I've wanted to.
so bad about my toe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can show the camera too.
Yeah. After.
Yeah, I got frostbite really bad. But it got really bad, I think, because I had gotten it a few times in Canada at first.
So it's our fault.
Yeah, it's the freaking Canadians.
It's cold as shit up
I
here.
know, it's fucking cold as shit. Yeah, I just wasn't. I mean, I'm from Tahoe, so it's like, I don't know.
Warm.
It's warm.
So where were you? What were you doing?
I went out in outside of Cook City, and we did a camping mission out by, you know, the line, the Patriarch, do you know? There's also a couple lines out there. Out by, there's like, it's called Goose Lake, and it was my friend, it's like an 18, I think if I get this right, it's like 12 mile sled, I think, out there, and I don't know how to sled, so I just took a rope and just got towed out there.
For 12 miles.
For 12 miles. It was kind of fun. Yeah.
You're like the most insane forearm burn of all time.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, I was like surfing around, skiing some bow behind the sled, and trying not to get just like whipped in the face. A couple times I would just get completely just blasted in the face by the sled in the back. But yeah, got through that and then hiked up through the wilderness and kind of set up camp, and it was snowing, it was epic and great, like we skied POW, and I had this weird anxiety though, I remember, about the whole trip, like I remember going down and closing my eyes, and like this like voice in the back of my head was like, probably you shouldn't be doing this. It was right in the middle of the qualifying season, kind of, or towards the end, but I had this feeling that it was probably a bad idea, but I just really wanted to go back there because it was so beautiful, and I had been there.
Was it just an intuition thing, or was it because you had to like leave the mission that you're already on the qualifying tour, and you wanted to like, was you anxious because you were taking focus away from something you were doing, or?
A little bit, but I think it was mostly yeah, I guess maybe that, but also it was just kind of a scary, cold adventure that I had a feeling that I wasn't necessarily prepared for, but I was super excited to just try it. And I thought maybe it was maybe like avalanche danger, which was like what I was scared about, but we were checking the forecast, and it honestly looked pretty good on high elevations, and there weren't any slides, and I was thinking like, okay, if it's avalanche danger that I'm worried about, I can at least mitigate that and make kind of good decisions while I'm out there. I didn't really think about the other issues that could arise, and so yeah, and my bags didn't show up, I remember saying like, okay, if my bags don't show up, I'm not gonna go, it's a sign. And before I knew it, my bags didn't show up, and I went. I just ignored so many things, really? I think. Yeah. I missed my flight there. Like, the universe was like,
don't go.
Yeah, essentially. And I remember closing my eyes and being like, this voice was like, do not go. I remember that specifically, which I really want to try and bring back if I can, like, learn from that. Because it's hard when you're skiing and you're like, is my intuition telling me not to go, or is this fear? There's such a weird line between the two, and I think the best skiers in the world are able to differentiate, and I think that's what is like kind of a lifetime endeavor. But that was one way to figure that out.
That's a big lesson.
Yeah.
So you were there for what?
Yeah, I was there for 5 days out there, and it was good. It was really good. We skied the Patriarch, which was fun, in POW. A little bit of a mishap in there. You have to rappel into this couloir, and then the closeout of the couloir is like this 400-foot cliff. So you can't fuck up if you're in the couloir.
Right.
And I did. I like skied into my slough by accident, because out there you're not really supposed to. At least this is what I learned from the person that I was with, and you know, I wanted like the cool GoPro shot. I wanted to ski in front of my slough and like ski it really well.
You wanted to ski like you see on the films.
Exactly. And I got caught up in my slough, and then just like it twisted me around. I was like skiing backwards down this fucking exposed couloir, I remember like trying to like reach out for the rock, trying to like hold on to it. And it was fine. It was just slough. It wasn't like a slide or anything, so I was fine. But it was scary. And then I was like, okay, cool. I'm done with like the I think adrenaline for the rest of the trip. So we skied some POW and chilled. And then we went out for this sunrise mission, the second to last days, and it was so cold. Like I remember I had never been that cold in my life, and I remember like not even really not thinking about my feet at all, but mostly like we hiked the whole couloir. I was in 2 puffies, all my base layers, a ski jacket, and then an expedition jacket on top of that, and then
a pair of plastic boots
and then a pair of plastic
thin
boots.
sock, right?
Exactly, yeah. Just not even thinking about it at all. Like, and I could move my toes. Like, I remember being like at one point being like, okay, I can move my toes at least. Didn't really think about it. My friend was already like halfway up the couloir at that point, just so far ahead of me, and I was like, okay, I'll just kind of keep going, I guess. Like, I'm not.
Did you have radios?
I don't think we did. No, probably should have.
So many
There's
learnings.
a few things, yeah.
Learned so many things on this trip, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Actually, that night, I realized I left my like whole gas canister on and just ran out of gas, so I couldn't cook any food and everything was just frozen. So I was starving too. I was like, damn. But we hiked it. I was freezing. But we skied it and it was fun. It was a great ski. And then it finally like warmed up. The sun came out. I was like kind of had this weird feeling, but I still again ignored it and then kept skiing. We skied like two more couloirs that day, I think, or one more couloir, but skied a couple POW laps in between. And then and I remember the last couloir, I was kind of, my body I feel like was just like breaking down and like my skins were coming off, you know, when you're just like thrashing and your skins are coming off and you're just like just pissed and sad. Like, yeah, I was kind of like, I was losing it by the end, but we still did it, skied this sweet couloir in the sunset, came down and my took off my ski boots and my toes were just, I was like, damn, I don't know what that looks, I don't know what frostbite looks like, but I'm pretty sure that's frostbite.
Black?
They were ghost white. Like, I could see the bones through my toes, all of them. Yeah, I know. And then so I don't really know what to have done in that situation, because I also heard from like a first aid perspective, you're not really supposed to warm up your toes again if they're gonna get cold again. But again, I wasn't gonna not try and warm up my feet that night, even though we were still far out there. And so I like duct taped hand warmers to my feet, put a bunch of socks on, woke up, and the next morning my feet were just swollen, like so swollen. And so I didn't know what to do, because like we were maybe 6 to 7 miles out hiking and then another 12 miles out on a sled, and
which you had to get pulled behind, right?
Yeah, no, at that point I was just bitch seat, and I was like, yeah. But I didn't, my foot was so swollen that my partner had to like sit on my thigh to like just like squeeze my foot in my boot, and I was just it was like the most agonizing thing I've ever experienced. I got my foot in my boot, and then we just slogged for like 6 miles out with like all of our shit on our backs, and then
just in excruciating pain, step by step.
Totally. There was like waves of like, okay, I'm okay, and then waves of like, fuck, like something's going on. And I had this feeling that maybe this was gonna fuck up my qualifying season, but at that point I was just trying to get out, so I was kind of like didn't really think about it that much. And then took my boot off, which was even more painful than putting my boot on, because all the blood rushed back to my feet at that point. And finally got in, and then took off my boot. And I remember like we were in the car, and I was kind of in that cheerful like post-trip like jubilee, I guess. Like I was kind of high from the whole experience, so I wasn't really like, and frostbite's not painful, so I mean, once it's over, like frostbite isn't painful like the actual,
until it's starting to heal. Yeah,
exactly. So I wasn't really in like a crazy amount of pain once I got my boot off. Anyway, long story short, my partner was like, the guy I was skiing with was like, you should probably go to the ER. Like, that looks kind of gnarly. And I was like, what? Ugh, okay, whatever, sure. And I called my friend Tracy Chubb. I don't know.
I know Tracy.
Yeah. I remembered like kind of like joking around with her, like, oh, I just like a quick stop to the hospital, for them to pop my blisters. And then before I knew it, I was in the ER, and they were like, all the doctors were like, oh my God, brought in all their nurses' friends to go look at it, like just for like education purposes.
Students are
like,
coming in, and you're just like sitting there, people are watching.
Yeah, and I had no idea. Like I didn't know like how bad it was. And in my head, I was like, it's not that, it can't be that bad.
Was it on both feet or just the one foot?
It was on the one foot that had already gotten a little bit of frostbite prior.
Right.
And in fact, it wasn't even like a little bit of frostbite. Like I had frostbite before I went out there. But it just wasn't like bad enough to stop skiing. So I was like, I could go on a crazy cold mission for 6 days, sure. So yeah, and then I remember I called a few friends. I was like, dude, I'm supposed to compete at Big Sky tomorrow. I don't know what to do. The doctor's like telling me that I need to go to wound care like ASAP. And I'm just like, fuck, I just like all I want to do is just try and like make it like just compete like and it was the finals, so I was like, I just need to like basically just do this one run. Can I do it? And the doctors are like, no fucking way. Like, do not do this.
Really?
And I was like debating. And then that night I woke up in the middle of the night and looked at my foot and I was like, yeah, no, I can't do this. So I got like kind of like emergency flown to Reno, and then I moved to Reno for 2 months and had to do hyperbaric therapy for 2 months just to try and save my toes.
Is that what they suggested? Just sit in an oxygen tank?
Yeah, for 2 hours a day for 60 days straight.
No way.
I know.
Did you read a lot in there?
You were not allowed to because they're worried that the ink would mess with the oxygen and explode. So you don't do anything.
What?
I know. It was crazy. You can't have anything in there. Except that you have a TV outside so you can like pick movies and...
Do they pump sound into it, or you just got to read like captions?
That you can pump sound into it, yeah.
So
yeah.
every day for 2 months you went into this thing?
Every single day for 2 hours a day for 2 months.
I've never heard that as like a solution.
Yeah, apparently like some doctors don't really recommend it. Like I don't know if you know who Anna Pfaff is. She had around the similar time had also horrible frostbite on a climbing trip in Alaska, I think, and her doctor in Alaska, or the emergency guy, didn't really refer her to hyperbaric therapy because like some doctors just don't believe it'll.
It's not a universally accepted therapy yet.
Yeah, so she had kind of a hell of a time just trying to like get a doctor to refer her and like get insurance to cover it because. Yeah. And
you said you had your insurance covered.
Yeah, I had Medi-Cal cover it. Yeah.
Thank God.
I know, because it was like probably $30,000 maybe, if that, at least.
Wow. So, okay, you go through 2 months of this.
Yeah.
And it still didn't really work?
All the doctors were like, you're young and healthy, like, that you should have a full recovery. Like, all the doctors said full recovery, but I just don't think that they realize that how frozen... it was out there. Yeah. And but I waited, so they were like, just wait. I had every day had to rewrap it, and it was disgusting. My toe was literally just black and coming off of itself.
Ugh,
I know,
rotting.
for 4 months. So then I waited 2 more months after hyperbaric. Yeah, it was rotting off of my toe. I know, it was horrible. It was literally horrible. And then so...
And this is over the spring, summer
yeah,
at this point
was kind of April, May.
Of this last year, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then finally, by June, the doctor was like, okay, we just got to cut this thing off.
Because it just wasn't healing?
It just didn't heal. Yeah.
It's just black and wrinkly
Pretty much. I would show you photos if you want later, but...
Do you know they have the toe shots in the Yukon in Dawson City? Have you ever heard of those? Mm-hmm. In Dawson City, there's a shot that you drink and it's got a pickled...
Oh yeah, I have heard about that.
The pickled toe.
Yeah, and then the toe kind of when you take a shot, it falls down and touches your lips.
Yeah.
And people you get off on it or something.
Yeah, you could.
It's really expensive, I hear.
Maybe you could have sent your toe.
Last time I checked, it was in biopsy situation, but I have had that thought multiple times.
You have access to it?
I should probably touch base on where it is.
Do you think you could get it back?
I can try.
Keep it?
I can try.
It's on a shelf?
Yeah.
Say you win on the podium or you win an event, you get a nice Freeride World Tour medal,
Yeah.
and then you got a case with your toe in it.
I know, or just make it a little necklace.
Ugh. That's jewelry.
Yeah.
All right, so after a couple months of just no improvement, are they just going what? I don't get it.
Yeah. Then they were because the doctor was like, you're a skier, like I want to make sure you have the best chance at recovering, so like just wait to see, like maybe it'll heal. Eventually it just didn't heal, and then in the meantime it was like fucking disgusting. Like it was either, I didn't know if it was infected or not infected, or like if like it was just kind of this emotional roller coaster of like and it was annoying because it was just like, it's a toe, like out of all of the things
are you like wearing a walking boot? Are you able to walk
at that
on
point,
it, or like
I was just wrapping it. I was just keeping it wrapped. So, yeah.
shoes, Birkenstocks,
flip flops, I guess.
Are you able to get the flip flop in between? It's your big toe, right?
Yeah, actually, flip flops don't actually work that well for me anymore.
And
but
some sliders.
Yeah, yeah. I had like Birkenstocks and kind of just.
That actually makes me kind of laugh that flip flops don't work for you anymore.
Just on the right foot.
I wonder. Did you? Okay, so they're like, you gotta cut your toe off. That's what he says to you. Like so you're in the doctor's office and it comes to that. What's your reaction?
At that point, I was like, thank God, just get this like fucking thing off me, please.
For real.
Well, because I wasn't able, like, I couldn't feel it anyway. I honestly couldn't even feel it for the entire ski season anyway. So it was kind of like, at some point, I'm used to the fact that I cannot feel the top of my toe. So I was like, yeah, please get it off me.
What's that process like?
Of like the surgery?
Yeah.
It was really weird. It looked like when she cut it off, and that was the thing.
They put you out, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's not like dental surgery when you're like awake and you can hear them drilling into your teeth.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there watching them chop your toe.
Yeah. They had to mark which one, which I thought was funny.
Like they do with knees.
As if they didn't know which one was the right one.
Oh, it was the black wrinkly
one?
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, no, when she cut it off, like, I looked down at it and I almost like fainted because it was like, it now looks kind of like it doesn't really look like a normal toe, but at least it's like kind of rounded.
You didn't get the whole thing taken off?
I got like, it cut off to the first knuckle.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No, it's not.
Oh, yeah. So you got like 9.5.
I basically just don't have any toe bang.
Toenail, exactly.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, it's like there's no you don't have to worry. Like, I was thinking about people coming up to you that you don't know, complaining about like losing their toenail or like toe bang. You're like, well, wait till you hear what I got.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, except the second toe, like the longer one, I keep stubbing it because it's like there's no, like it's shorter. Like the main toe is shorter, so then when you stub your big toe, now it's just like the other toe that I keep stubbing.
Oh
so.
Man, my dad breaks his toes probably every 3 years from stubbing his feet. Yeah, like he's currently like at the tail end of it. He broke it a couple months ago. Again, I'm like, again? Like I buy him slippers specifically to prevent that. And I'm like, I might have to take like the bed frame of his bed and like remove it and just put the box spring on the floor. But for my whole life, every 2 or 3 years, he stubs a toe and he breaks a toe. And this one, he's like, I think it's just kind of mush now.
Oh my God.
I'm like, is it healing? He's like, it's still sore. I'm like, good Lord. But
I know, he needs like metal slippers.
But just thick slippers. He's got to wear them.
Yeah.
But like, I never thought about that before because how often do you stub your toe and not even think about it? Or like bang your elbow and not even think about it? But now you're like, because it's a delicate little toe.
It is, yeah. Yeah. I've never like thought much about my toes until now, I guess.
You have some good slippers? Some sliders?
I have, I guess, some good slippers. I'm really good at keeping my toes warm these days.
I bet.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you, let's go back to this flip-flop business. Have you had them on since? And is like the nub long enough to keep it in place?
It kind of is long enough, but like kind of slip, like they
it'll like slip off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. It'll like move around, and then all of a sudden it's like not on my foot.
It's
anymore.
like sideways.
Yeah, yeah. It's safe to say I'm like kind of I'm stuck to Birkenstocks probably.
So I do have to say, like, you've embraced it well, as almost like your thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you said, you gave me that Molly or Nine Toes nickname, which is awesome, and you don't seem too upset about it.
Yeah.
It's just what is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when it first happened, I was Googling a bunch about frostbite, and all of the photos were like before and after, and my toe looked worse than the Google photos, I swear. And then all of the after photos were like their toes being amputated, and I remember just being like calling my mom and being like, I don't want to lose my toe, like, please no. And she was like, no way, like, everyone's like, you're not gonna lose your toe, like, it's fine, you're fine, don't worry about it. But yeah, like, going back and like looking at all the remember looking at all the Google photos, like, everybody that had frostbite that bad had their toes amputated. So I was kind of at that point, and then 5 months of it, like, I was like, ah, fuck it, I'm like over it, this like whole situation.
So when you had it taken off, was there like a period of like depression or like
like missing, like phantom toe depression?
Absolutely, yeah, some sense of loss.
Yeah,
and then but also like
postmortem,
like phantom pain.
No phantom pain. No phantom pain, although it was really, really, really painful, the surgery. Like, yeah, my whole foot was just throbbing like crazy. But then it kind of healed fine.
And does it affect your walking?
Not that I can tell, really. Like, kind of. Yeah.
No balance issues. No.
Well,
like,
when it first happened, for sure.
Well, because you couldn't put any weight because it's painful.
Yeah. And I also accidentally like broke my kneecap in the middle of it all, because I know I was like so riled up. I was stuck at home, my toe situation, and
so before it got amputated, you broke your kneecap? Good Lord.
I know. So I was like,
how'd you do that?
Mountain biking. I know. My friend was like, maybe you should put knee pads on, and I was like, I verbatim was like, no, screw you, I'm gonna go do this without knee pads. It wasn't really my forethought, but I definitely just didn't have knee pads on. And
you have so many like hindsight lessons to learn.
I know. It's kind of like, at what point do you just like you just never stop learning, I guess. But yeah, the saying like, well, at least you learned something from this. It's like kind of at a certain point, it's like, how many lessons do I need to learn again until like I can do something right? Oh
jeez. All right, so you're back on skis now. You're fast forward, kind of worked out still. You got a great story to tell.
Yep.
Right? You've just eaten up half an hour of a podcast.
Totally. Talking about my toe.
So thanks for losing your toe to give me some content.
You're welcome.
But you're on the tour now.
Yep.
And you got wildcarded?
Yeah, I got wildcarded.
Because they saw how well you were doing, and then...
Yeah, I think I don't really know. I really wanted the wildcard. I was like, I really wanted to make the tour, I remember. And I told myself that I was just going to make it in 3 seasons, and then if I don't make it in 3 seasons, I'm just going to give up. Mm-hmm. So that this was kind of going to be my last shot at making the tour. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I finally got the hang of it during the qualifiers, because on the years prior, I was like either just like way too fucking balls to the walls or just like way too mellow, and I couldn't figure out the in between. I felt like I finally kind of got it in the qualifiers, and then the whole like frostbite thing happened. I was like, dang, well, oh well. So yeah, and I guess maybe they kind of saw that, or just saw my Instagram, and I get a little self-conscious that like people look at my Instagram and think I'm this gnarly skier, and maybe.
Well, remember I was telling you about what you should do with it when we were in Golden?
Yeah, and you know what?
Because you're like showing so many crash clips,
yeah.
And you're like, if people are gonna think I'm a shit skier, I'm like, no, you should keep doing that just to psych out the competition.
Totally.
And you did it.
Yep, yeah.
Was it on purpose, or did you just have more crashing clips?
I just had a lot. I just crashed a lot.
That's all. I'm like, I did see that. I'm like, there's another crash clip. I'm like, nice work, Molly. Yep. Make them think
that you just only crash, or I just only crash.
And then you show up, and then you just blow everybody away. Be like, that was the B-roll motherfuckers, and then put out all the good clips afterwards.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Lots of crashing.
Go check out Molly's Instagram. Go and see the crash reel for the decades.
Yeah, it's like the last 10 posts are just explosions. So.
It's amazing. Yeah, you gotta get after it in order to get after it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple other things that we've had some chats. You're a pet lover.
Yeah, I do.
So you have a dog that you love.
I love Chaucy.
Mm-hmm. I also have a dog, which is, I'm sure we've talked about already.
Cedar.
But you've also had some other unique pets.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about this
that we've learned about. So do we talk about your rats first?
Yeah, we could talk about my rats. I had, yeah, sure. Growing up, we had animals like all the time. I remember we kind of grew up on like a little farm, and my parents were always very supportive of buying rodents for us. So I had one rat named Schmel. And I loved her so much. She was so cute. And she unfortunately got some tumors.
As every rat does.
Rats do.
Like I said I was telling you, my friend Ryan had rats, one named Peaches, one named Templeton, and they both got
They both got it.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, yeah. I'm not sure about that whole thing. I probably won't get any more rats for the rest of my life.
But you're telling me that you would just like let the rat free range in your house?
Yeah.
And you've ruined some friendships?
Just my college roommate. I don't know if we were like super close in the first place, but definitely when the rat ate through her clothes, it I think it ended there. And then I moved in with my actual friends, and they embraced the rat, and it was okay.
Like I was saying, your old roommate probably has an unbelievable shitty roommate story.
I know.
This chick had a fucking rat that ate all my clothes.
I know. I feel so bad. Yeah.
All right. So you also told me a great story about some ducks that you ordered on Amazon?
Yeah. Well, I think FedEx or online. Yeah. I ordered some ducks online. They showed up in the
So how does
mail.
that even happen?
Dude, I don't know. I remember like kind of like Googling stuff, and I was like, no way, you can buy ducks online. And I couldn't. There's no hesitation really. I just kind of put in the order, and they showed up.
You're not living in like the farm at this point? Are you like living with the rats
At this point, I was in Santa Cruz in a full blown like urban little house. Like there was no place for ducks, unfortunately. Which sounds really cruel, but they had quite the good life.
Were they ducklings?
They were little ducklings, yeah. Duckleberry Finn and Moby Duck.
You have the best pet names. All right, and then there was a tragic moment.
Yeah. So I remember, and I hope that my friend Drew is listening to this story, but I was in the shower, and so I've only heard it from a third-person perspective, but apparently a hawk flew into the backyard and picked up Duckleberry, and my friend Drew just, like, ninja slid over a table and just ran after the hawk, grabbing Duckleberry, and then the hawk couldn't fly high enough and just, like, basically knocked Duckleberry into the fence, and then Duckleberry fell back into the yard and was saved, and yeah, so...
Can you imagine witnessing that?
I don't know. Yeah, totally.
So you get out of the shower and he's like, do you know what
Yeah,
just happened?
exactly. Everyone's going, yeah. And then after that, we realized that they were getting older and more mature. They're Swedish runner ducks, and I don't even know what that means, if they fly or not.
Were they like the white duck with the orange beak, like the cartoon style?
No,
duck?
they were like kind of like skinny and black, like almost like penguin looking. Anyway, we gave them to our friend who has like an actual farm, and they could a free range duck place.
How long did you have these ducks for?
Probably like a couple months. Yeah. Yeah.
Any other wild pets?
We grew up with like a lot of horses. So we grew up horseback riding quite a bit, and I always felt too bad for the horses to like ride them, so I never really got into it. I know.
Why?
I don't know. I just felt like, I felt bad for just like being on their backs and like making them run, I guess.
Don't they love that though?
I don't know. I guess maybe.
I'm not a horse guy.
Me neither.
We've had a
Clearly.
couple horse people on the show, and I ask some questions, and I usually ask more questions afterwards because the questions I ask are so stupid that I don't want to put them on. I don't want to put them on the podcast. So home is back to Tahoe, but I was joking that Golden might be your second home this year.
Yeah, maybe Golden's the same. Yeah, because we've been there quite a bit.
So you started skiing for Scott.
Skiing for Scott this year.
And so you're in Golden for the Sister Summit. Actually, talk about that. How was that?
It was so sick. It was like the coolest experience, I think. It was one of the coolest trips I've ever had. And I think just being surrounded by maybe there were like 40 professional skier and snowboarder women, and every one of them was like the most capable, in tune, and kind of like experienced people, even the kind of the rookies. Like everybody was so like easygoing and capable that it was really refreshing. Yeah, it was a really cool experience.
How did you get on that trip?
Scott, they just, which was cool. I didn't even know about it. And then they were like, we want you to go to this thing. And I was like, okay, sounds awesome.
And it was.
And it was.
I talked to Fanny's here, actually.
Yeah.
Fanny and Hedvig about it, and it just sounded terrific.
Yeah.
Like, what did you get out of it that you didn't expect?
A lot of like kind of I think connections, like it was a really good kind of
like networking
experience. And I think that Hedvig and Fanny and Lexi did a really good job. Like I think I know that the mission was to increase female frequency in the ski world, and it was a really good way to do it by just getting a bunch of people together, because like the more even here, like I know Erica from that, I know Rachel from that, and it just kind of made this season so far a lot more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
then arriving on the tour as well.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I guess you knew some of the riders from before, just on tour and whatnot. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of rookies this year.
Yeah.
A lot of rookies, a lot of wildcards. Mm-hmm. Do you think that gives you kind of a leg up?
No, just because I'm so rookie that I'm probably just as rookie as they are.
And have you had other conversations with a lot of the other rookies about what they're feeling? Is it all kind of the same vibes?
I'm trying to get a feel for it, and it seems like I'm a little nervous that it seems like more people, maybe it's just it just seems like that in my head, but it seems like they're a little more confident than I am.
Or they're just portraying that.
Maybe. I don't know. Addie told me, Addie's my roommate here, and she said that she had a full-on dream about skiing her line last night, and she stomped it, and I was like,
didn't you have a dream about flexing your ski and then breaking it in half?
Meanwhile, I had a dream that I was showing people how stiff my ski were, and they just broke while I was flexing them. So I was like, great.
So learning on all of those things that we talked about before, on all the signs.
Yeah, at what point?
Are any of those screaming out at you that you're ignoring right now?
I hope not. I'm just going to close my eyes really fast and see. No. So far, so good. There was definitely a few signs early on in Barcelona when we got the car towed, and
that's right.
Shit stolen. So, but maybe that was just like all the bad stuff getting it out of the way.
But it was Jed's bag that got stolen.
And it was Jed's bag.
Maybe it was just collateral damage on that universal sign.
I know, and I was making fun of Jed. I was making fun of him about being, I don't know, some sort of horrendous person in his past life to wind up in how we wound up. But
says the girl who just got her toe amputated.
I know exactly. That was and he's like, what do you mean me? Yeah.
All right, so Sister Summit was good.
Sister Summit was awesome, yeah.
And then did it kind of change how you saw your job? Like you said you just came new into Scott. It's kind of your first really big, your head to toe, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
First really big kind of sponsorship in skiing.
Uh-huh.
And I know there was a lot of like industry learning and stuff in there as well, not just like skiing and networking. Mm-hmm. But did you gain a lot of like perspective or?
Yeah, I think so. We had a lot of, I think we had some kind of like discussions and little like lectures and stuff. And there was one that was really cool, and it wasn't like, if you're an athlete, it's not about the sponsors. Like you get some. I think you can go about it multiple ways that I'm trying to figure out. Like you can be a really good sponsored athlete and do things like specifically for your sponsors, and get the photos and the content that they want, and even though maybe they want all of that stuff from you, it really comes down to just kind of like who you are and what you want to do and how you want to build yourself up. And the sponsors are there to support that versus the other way around. Mm-hmm. So I think there's something to be said about like one path or the other. And I don't really know. I mean, maybe when I'm a little older, like my job, if I'm still a sponsored skier, who knows? But if I'm like, maybe when I'm a little older, I would focus more on like being the Glenn Plake style, like, so like for my sponsors, like here's all your content, and this is like, I'll represent you as a brand and I'll use my name for you. But I think at this point in my career, like I would like to make sure that any sponsors that are like here to support me, not the other way around.
Yeah, you got to establish yourself and your identity as a skier still.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, because you're Molly. I want to keep saying. I had. Oh, this is the first time I screwed it up now. I didn't want to say.
Okay, go ahead. Into the mic.
Armanino.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not Amarano or how many?
Armanini.
Armanini is a good one.
Armanine toes.
But you want to like establish yourself as Molly Armanino.
Yeah.
And who you are and what you are in the last like year or so. Like we were talking to someone the other day, like, oh, you've got a buzz around you, and he got super embarrassed. But it's true, you've just become present with what you've been doing, all those crash rails.
Yeah, all the crashes. Yeah.
But it's you're at that stage now where you're able to kind of build your career, and I think that's a really good, healthy perspective. So.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. I definitely am kind of in like the midst of a skier identity crisis. Like, I don't know, sometimes like last year I wanted to be like a mountaineer, and clearly that didn't work out too well. And then, and then Freeride, I've never really thought of myself as like a really playful freeride skier either. And then there's like the trick game. Like I can do tricks, but it's not really my forte, and so I'm kind of just in the middle of
finding your lane.
Finding the lane for sure.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're getting there.
Hopefully one day.
Right on. And then you were at that Scott shoot.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
That was cool.
Second time in Golden.
Yep.
And then you'll be there again.
Yep.
Which is actually kind of funny because I was there all those times as well. And what was the Scott shoot like? I know we had Sam on the show.
Yeah.
And that's when I did that episode and met you the first time. And you guys were out there for like a week, just kind of bonding. Is that the first big like team trip you've ever been on?
Yeah. Oh, well, no, I was on a lawn last year, and we went out to Slovenia, which was so fun. It was really cool, and Slovenians are awesome. And then this was my like first, I think my first like really like intimate team trip. Like I hung out a lot with McKenna Peterson, who I just fucking adore at this point. I don't know who doesn't in this world, but
what a boss. And you carpooled with her as well?
Yeah, we had like a really wonderful car ride out there.
To be able to spend, dozens of hours just picking her brain and but not even specifically, just gathering info.
Yeah. She comes about life in like a really very like I don't know how to explain it, like a very mellow but like I don't even want to say like she's very, it seems like she has gone through her skiing career like in a very positive, go with the flow way, and to the point where it's been extremely successful for her. Like she's been I've grown up only knowing about her through just like these major films that she's been in and Alaska and all of the things. But then when you meet her in person, she's not like this. It doesn't seem like she's like I must go do this.
She emanates calm.
Yeah, exactly.
She's just so cool.
Yeah.
Like cool as in like she's really cool, but she's just cool as a cucumber. Yep. Just even keel.
And like confident and like comfortable with who she is.
Comfortable. Yeah. That's probably a better term. She's so, you're around her and you're like, you are just so comfortable in your own skin.
Yep.
That's exactly the way I perceive her.
Yeah, and it really reflects in like her. I think that's why she's so successful. The reason why, other than her sick skiing, but like she's really successful socially, is like the people you want to be around are the ones that are comfortable with themselves, because that just like kind of makes you feel comfortable, you know. So yeah, and then I met Parkin, which was awesome because he's been my hero ever since he did that backflip into that avalanche.
Over the avalanche, yeah.
Yeah.
We have a little clip about that, actually. I talked to him about that last year.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like explained the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah, it's wild. He didn't even know it was happening.
Oh, God. Oh, he just skied out and it was...
And just like saw it when he was upside down. Oh, shit.
Yeah, totally.
Can you imagine?
Totally.
And then who else was there? It was Parkin, McKenna,
and Sam. Yeah, and Sam's a hoot. Like, what a fucking funny ass dude.
Dude's a ball energy.
Yeah, he is.
It.
Yeah. To the point where I was like, damn, like I would just look at him and be like, dude, shut up. But he's hilarious. Good energy the whole time.
I get the same though too. I think that's why I got along with him so well. We spent the whole day and it was like, who's going to keep telling stories? Is it my turn to tell a story? Is it your turn to tell a story? Is it my turn to tell a story? Is it your turn to tell a story?
Totally.
That's cool. Would you ever consider moving to Canada?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, every day.
For real?
I mean, if it's possible, I would move to, like, I love Revy a lot. I love the town of Revy. I would live there for sure.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, you might be able to do that.
I know. I was asking somebody about like permanent residency, but I don't know if you could just move there.
You can, like, if you're fully employed as a skier, like Sammy moved there, Lexi moved there.
That's true.
But they have their own independent income streams, right? So if you're fully a pro skier,
that's 100%
your job. You could move there. You can go for at least 6 months.
Yeah, totally. Spend a season out there.
Yeah. And then, you can make it happen.
I have a funny story about Revy. Like, I remember going for the first time ever with my friend Trevor, and we rolled up at this bar, and all the chicks were in these like leggings in the bar, and they all had the nicest butts. And I was like, what? There's like chicks everywhere with just nice butts. Like, what is this place, you know? And he's like, damn, this place is awesome. And then I skied Revelstoke, and I was like, oh, no wonder everybody has nice butts here, because it's just like 4,000 for moguls just to get down to the hill.
You don't have to take the mogul run. You can take the cat track run. Plus, there's lots of boot packing here.
Yeah.
Is that really why you want to move to Revy?
Just for the nice butts.
Just to shape your butt.
Yeah.
And to see nice butts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the same program.
Yeah. Totally.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's one good athletic butt. Yeah.
Well, that's probably the best way that we can leave this. Talking about asses.
Cool.
So what? Comp days in a couple days?
Yep. Comp day is tomorrow, actually.
Oh shit! It's tomorrow.
So.
I'm glad you're paying attention.
Yeah. It's tomorrow.
So we got to get you out on the hill so you can go see the Forerunners, do the face check. For those of you listening, this will have been recorded, and the event will have been out already.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're cheering you on in my intros,
hopefully.
Congratulating you. Anything that you feel you need to do in the next day?
Maybe like just chill, go hang out with my dad.
Is that him over there?
I don't think so. Oh, actually, that is my dad.
Yeah. He came in and I gave him one of these.
Yeah.
I'm calling him over. Are you gonna get him on here?
Yeah. Hey, Dad. Oh, is he gonna go say something?
Yeah, here comes your dad. So it's cool your dad's here, though. Did he fly over from the States?
Yeah, he got in last night. So.
Have you seen him yet?
Not yet.
Oh, nice.
It's good quality.
Hi, Molly's dad.
Hey, Dad.
Come on in. We're just wrapping up the podcast.
She's spoken longer to you today than she's spoken to me combined for 15 years.
Oh, come on, man. All right, do you want to?
How are you?
Good. Nice to see you.
I don't want to embarrass you.
Too late.
It's
It's too late.
only going to be on Spotify for everybody to hear. So.
Okay.
And YouTube, say hi. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
And nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. It's Rod. My name's Rod.
Nice to meet you, Rod.
Good.
All right, let's get you out on the hill.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thanks for watching this video on the LPP YouTube channel. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. And while you're here, you may as well watch this great LPP highlights video. Thanks.